Hey, what's up YouTube? It's your boy Chandler Slezak back with another video, and welcome back to my channel. And in today's topic, this has kind of been a shower thought that I had, like, that just popped in my head recently, and it's because, like, I will say, I mean, as probably everybody else here does, I watch a lot of YouTube. A lot of YouTube. Like, whenever I'm bored and, like, whenever I don't feel like playing video games or watching TV, YouTube is another thing that I do to pass the time. And, YouTube has a problem. A big problem, in my opinion. And this has to do with, like, medical misinformation, especially. More specifically, it has to do with, like, pretty much the subjects of homeopathy and, quote-unquote, naturopathy, excuse me. And, so pretty much, before I got into the shower, I was watching this one YouTube video. This was, like, a little bit ago. Like, I just got home from work, like, a little while ago. And, yeah, before I got into the shower, I was watching, YouTube, as usual. Like, as I do sometimes whenever I'm bored. And, this advertisement pops up. And it's in the style of, like, it's got one of those AI robotic voices that says, "Oh, here's something that your doctor doesn't want you to know," kind of thing. And then eventually it leads on to, like, saying, "Oh, you got to do this, like, specific homeopathic medicine, or you got to take this specific homeopathic medicine, or, like, you got to do this specific technique, like, do some bullshit Tai Chi, whatever crap, or, like, do whatever kind of bullshit, like, alternative medicine, pretty much." And it's like, I get really sick and tired of seeing these, because as a person who values things such as logic, science, and philosophy, and who values truth as a whole, these advertisements really bug me. And I really think YouTube really needs to crack down more on these misinformation advertisements, as well as I think the FDA needs to, how could I put it, they need to regulate more of these quote-unquote homeopathic drugs. And especially, they also have to, in my opinion, they also need to start regulating supplements. Because, I mean, let's be real. There are a lot of things out there, especially, mostly from homeopathy, but even somewhat from, like, the supplement aspect of things, where there are these certain drugs or these certain supplements that, like, clearly have not been truly tested and peer-reviewed by actual scientists, and have instead, how could I put it, they've instead been tested on, like, anecdotal groups, or it's like they're mostly based on anecdotal evidence, which is not even good evidence at all whenever you're trying to prove that something works or doesn't work. And the same even goes for criminal trials. I mean, it's like, shit, what would you rather trust? Would you rather trust the hard evidence, like, say, a 9mm bullet was found at the crime scene? Or would you trust, like, the anecdotal evidence of, like, some random bystander who was probably paid off by the defendant and say, like, to basically say, "Oh, this guy didn't do it. He didn't do it at all." Obviously, you're going to trust the hard evidence of the 9mm bullet found in or at the crime scene. I mean, I would think that's pretty obvious. Any rational person would trust the evidence and follow the evidence where it goes. But these people who fall into the realm of homeopathy and quote-unquote naturopathy and all these other forms of alternative medicine, they're not in on it for your best interests. What they want to do is they want to make money off of you. And I know what some of you who are my detractors are going to say. Like, y'all are going to say, "Oh, but doctors want to scam you too, and they want to fill you full of opiates and a bunch of other quote-unquote allopathic medicines." And it's bullshit. First off, there's no such thing as quote-unquote allopathy. That term was invented by the guy who invented homeopathy. I think his last name is Heinemann. But anyways, the point still stands. Like, during that time, this was like around, like, what, 17th to 18th century, if I'm not mistaken. Medicine wasn't as advanced as it is now. I mean, shit. We even have a lot more medical, we have a lot more medicines and medical techniques and a bunch of other ways that we can help treat or cure diseases through evidence-based methods. There are a bunch of evidence-based methods and a bunch of proven drugs and a bunch of other things that we have available to treat or even better, cure a lot of these conditions that exist. And this even falls into the realm of, like, people who are neurodivergent, such as myself. I have ADHD. And I've even seen, like, comics on the internet, or I've seen, like, posts on Reddit or something that are just like, so anti-amphetamines or anti-ADHD medication. I mean, shit, I get it. Like, you don't want to, quote-unquote, fill your kids with drugs or whatever. But here's the thing. Like, everything that you've ever consumed can technically be considered a drug. So, I mean, it's like, you got people who smoke weed, which, I mean, hey, I've done that shit before. But it's like, marijuana actually works for a lot of things. It's been tested on a lot of different conditions, especially in places like, say, Colorado, where it's legal. And it can help out with a lot of things. It really can. Especially if you're, like, on chemotherapy and, say, for example, like, you lose appetite or some other side effects happen due to the chemotherapy. Marijuana can especially be used to, like, say, treat any kind of side effects that you might feel from chemotherapy. And here's the thing about chemotherapy. Chemotherapy is not a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. But I'm saying that everything that you consume has its caveats, has side effects. And again, my detractors are going to say, oh, side effects bad. No, they're not necessarily bad. Just because something has side effects, that does not automatically mean that it is a bad drug. Side effects are only a result of, like, the drug working. Like, say, for amphetamines. Amphetamines, you'll have certain side effects, like, say, if you take way too many amphetamines, or if you take way too many, like, any drug similar to that, like methylphenidate or Ritalin, any kind of ADHD medication like that, you're going to experience things like, possibly, especially if you take way too much, you can experience things like paranoia. You can have auditory or visual hallucinations. And you can even have things like, say, with long-term usage, if you're not taking care of yourself, you can have liver damage, for example. There's a bunch of other side effects that can happen. But that's only if you misuse the drug, or if you don't use the drug as it is prescribed by your doctor, specifically. And the same goes for opiates. As bad as opiates can be, I mean, shit, without them, think about all of the people who have suffered from pain, from, say, after having a surgery of any kind, or even, like, any kind of injuries. Like, that. Opiates have helped us out in treating pain. And I'm not a big advocate for opiates. I mean, shit. Like, I've taken them before because, I mean, when I had my wisdom teeth taken out, it, like, helped prevent me from having any pain afterwards whenever I got my wisdom teeth taken out. And I don't feel any pain. I never got a dry socket afterwards. I followed everything that the oral surgeon told me to do after I got my wisdom teeth taken out. And I turned out excellent. I'm doing fucking swell. I mean, shit, I'm here today. But it's like, there's just all this information about, like, oh, chemicals bad, bro. Side effects bad, bro. Drugs bad, bro. But here's the thing. You want to know something that's true? Everything that you consume, not even really that everything that you consume is a drug. That's not fully true in a sense, but I only use that as, like, an example of, like, a lot of things that you consume are made out of chemicals. And the same thing even goes for GMOs. These exact same people will say shit like, oh, GMO's bad, bro. But it's like, here's the fucking thing. But the bananas that you eat from the store, and all the fruits and vegetables that you eat from the store are GMOs. And you don't see anybody really, like, suffering because they're eating GMOs. The only reason why people ever, like, have complications from eating GMO foods is because they consume too much of it, or like they overuse those GMOs. And the same way goes with any kind of drug or chemical. If you overuse chemicals, or if you overuse drugs, then that's when you're going to experience really bad side effects. And the same even goes for anything homeopathic. But the thing is, with homeopathy, they may claim that there's quote-unquote less side effects, but here's the truth as to why there's like less or even no side effects. Because there are no effects at all. See, oh, excuse me. I had a burp there. Anyways. Jesus. I guess I'm feeling indigestion or something. But yeah, anyways, the point stands. What I'm basically saying is that, like, the reason why homeopathic medicines, quote-unquote medicines, and these alternative medicines and crap have little or no side effects is because they don't have any effects at all. And the reason why is because homeopathic medicine especially, it, basically you're taking whatever substance or whatever plant or whatever that you are wanting this certain effect to achieve. You're taking it, putting it in water, shaking it up until there's a little bit of it left, and then you take that solution, put it into another bottle of water or another vial or whatever, shake it up again, and you do it multiple times. And for some reason, homeopaths have this weird fucking belief, and this was the same weird belief that the founder of homeopathy had as well, that apparently dilution activates the drug, or like it activates the effects, or it makes them more potent or something like that. It's bullshit. The reality is that everything that you dilute, it becomes less of what it originally was. And in fact, with a lot of these homeopathic quote-unquote medicines, there's not even really any of the original substance left in the container or vial or whatever, if any at all. There might be trace amounts of it, depending on how it was diluted or whatever. But the point still stands that a majority of the time, a lot of those diluted homeopathic drugs, medicines, quote-unquote, they're just diluted. It's just water. It's just water, bro. And another thing that people have that people within the homeopathic sphere have this weird belief, another weird belief of, is that they think that water, quote-unquote, has memory. Okay, first off, water isn't even alive. And for something to even have memory, you have to be a living thing. And you also have to have some kind of consciousness. Water does not have consciousness, nor does it have memory, nor does it even have a brain. It does not remember, quote-unquote, remember anything that you have diluted into that solution. It doesn't have that. To have that belief is woo-woo bullshit. It's misinformation, it's pseudoscience, and it's a scam. And I'll say this. If there's one thing that I hate in this world, it's scammers. But if there's one thing that I hate even more that exists in this world, is lying fucking motherfuckers who sell you basically snake oil. This is the exact same problem that people experienced in times like the Wild West, for example. There were a lot of people out there who, of course, suffered from a lot of diseases. Because, I mean, shit, like I said, this was, like, even before the time that, like, penicillin was even discovered to have, like, antibiotic effects. I mean, shit, we didn't even really discover that till, like, what, World War I? Or, like, penicillin wasn't even really much of a thing until, like, World War I, pretty much, when you think about it. But the point stands. It's nothing but snake oil. And just like what the snake oil salesmen back in the Wild West did, is that they would make a claim. They're like, oh, I have this wonderful solution that will help be able to let you see again, to cure your blindness, or like, say, to make you feel younger or whatever. They basically take that kind of messaging and then they put up these fake examples or these fake anecdotes that they make up saying like, here's some people who have benefited from this shit. But in reality, they have not benefited from it at all. It's all a scam in the end just to get your money. That's all it's ever been. And the same goes for homeopathy. And again, my detractors are going to say, oh, but the government of India, they use homeopathic medicine and they always test it. They may use it, but they never test it. It's bullshit. The government of India, whenever it comes to homeopathy, like, they're very corrupt whenever it comes to it. Because, I mean, it's like, they're paid off by these homeopaths, by these homeopathic quote-unquote doctors, which, by the way, they're not real doctors. They're not real doctors at all. They don't understand biochemistry. They don't understand pharmacology, like pharmacology is the study of how drugs work. They don't understand human physiology. They don't understand anything that you have to understand in order to be a doctor, a nurse, or any other kind of medical practitioner. And the same even goes for chiropractors. Chiropractic is bullshit, just like homeopathy is bullshit. Because they're basically starting from their conclusion and working their way backwards. This is the exact same thing that cults do. Cults, like, say, Heaven's Gate, for example, they start with this conclusion of, we're all going to escape one day on an alien spacecraft that will come when this one comet comes, or whatever, when this one comet comes. But then it's like, when that comet came, they never left. They were still here, which is why they ended up killing themselves in the first place. Or even Jonestown. The founder of Jonestown was like, hey, if you guys follow me, you will have actual salvation. And then suddenly later on, whenever they founded the settlement of Jonestown, they all ended up drinking the Kool-Aid, committing suicide. The poisoned Kool-Aid, I should say, and committed suicide. And this is no different. Oh, and the same even goes for, what are they called? Branch Davidians. With this whole idea of David Koresh being the Moshiach, the Messiah. Despite the fact that, like, he doesn't fulfill any of the biblical prophecies that are told in the Tanakh, the Hebrew Bible, aka the Old Testament. And yeah, they ended up dying in a shootout against ATF and the FBI. And they ended up burning, like, the way that they actually died was they burned, all because tear gas was thrown at them, and then people were shooting, and then it ended up causing fires, which then led not all, I shouldn't say all, I think it's pretty much a majority of the followers of the Branch Davidians who were in Waco, during the Waco siege, died in those fires. And it's sad that people fall for these cult ideologies, and it's sad that, that there are some people out there who are gullible enough to believe any kind of crap that they hear some unqualified person talk about. Despite the fact that none of these people that they follow actually know what they're talking about. In the end, it's all a grift to get your money or to get you to become a follower of the cult, if in the case of cults. And it's all just a big scam. It's all a big distraction. It's all a big diversion. It's a way to keep you controlled under the thumbs of these narcissists who want power over you, all because, like, they're pieces of shit, and they know they're pieces of shit, but they don't care about the fact that they are evil pieces of shit. For, pretty much scamming people into thinking that they're being cured from whatever disease they are suffering from by taking this diluted water herbal solution, whatever the fuck. Or even, quite a bit of times, homeopathic medicines are also literally like fucking sugar pills. I mean, seriously, one example of, like, somebody debunking homeopathy was the great James Randi. James Randi was a very well-known skeptic and a really excellent magician. He was really good at doing magic. And one of the many tricks that he did was he would take these quote-unquote sleeping pills. He'd take a whole bottle of them. But the thing about those sleeping pills is that they were homeopathic pills. They were homeopathic sleeping pills. And he never fell asleep. All of it is based on the placebo effect. And people don't seem to understand how the placebo effect works. So basically the placebo effect is basically where your brain tricks itself into thinking that, excuse me, like whatever you're taking is actually helping you. And this is not the case for actual proven medications that have been studied experimented on and peer-reviewed. Like, these are compared to placebos, and placebos are a really good tool for studying how drugs work, how drugs interact with your neurochemistry, like all the neurons and the chemicals in your brain, and how drugs interact with your body. Like, they're a really great tool. But the homeopaths have taken this to a whole new level and saying, oh, this magic water that I have will cure you of, like, any disease, like disease XYZ, and all you have to do is just take this for the rest of your life. And it's sad, because there are even quite a few cancer patients that fall for this crap, too. They think that they're never going to get cured by doing chemotherapy or radiation, like radiotherapy, like aka radiation therapy. Excuse me, I had to pop my neck. But anyways, it's like, it's sad, because a lot of these people who are desperate to get themselves cured, which I can understand that. I mean, shit, who the fuck wants cancer? Cancer is horrible. I wish cancer wasn't a thing. But sadly, it's a fact of reality. It's a fact of reality that since humans are living longer than they've ever lived, even like, say, 50 years ago, not even just 100 or 200 years ago, but even 50 years ago, like, shit, we got people nowadays who are living well into their 100s. Now, it's not as common to live into your 100s, but it's getting a lot more common than what it used to be. And it's not because of homeopathy. It's because of actual proven medicine. Doctors don't go to school for 8 or 10 years to scam you. Doctors go to school for like 8 or 10 years in order to get their doctorates, like their MDs or their DOs, or whatever doctorate they have, to help people. That is why they go to school and study pharmacology, biochemistry, physiology, and a bunch of other fields, because they want to help people. Now, are there some piece of shit doctors out there? Yes. But they're not within the majority of the, they're not within the majority of the medical community. Most doctors and nurses, they want to help you out. And I feel that this homeopathy shit has gotten even worse ever since COVID happened. Because ever since the whole ivermectin craze and the whole hydroxychloroquine and chloroquine craze, where Donald Trump and his followers were like saying, oh yeah, you gotta take ivermectin, or you gotta take hydroxychloroquine or chloroquine to be able to cure COVID-19. Trust me, I know, because I'm the greatest man in the world, because I'm Donald Trump. It's probably not the best Trump impression, but I think it's pretty good in my opinion. But anyways, it's like, ever since that, and ever since this whole anti-vax shit has gotten even worse, within especially the extreme right wing, it's like, that's especially when I started to notice that this homeopathic shit has increased like tenfold. Shit, maybe even at most it's increased 100-fold. And it pisses me off that people are falling for this shit. I'm just like, dude, why sit here and be a fucking narcissist or a sociopath and just not give a shit about the people who you claim you're treating and just letting them die, all because you're giving them these fake medicines? They're not even real medicines. These homeopathic medications, they're not actual medicines. It's just water. It's just water with maybe even, like, at most, trace amounts of whatever the hell was originally in that mixture, in that solution. It's like, this is like five-head type shit here. This is not really just logical. This is even common sense. Like, how the fuck can anybody fall for this shit? Like, and I'm not shitting on the people who fall for this shit, but I'm shitting on people who promote this shit and claim, oh, like, this shit's true, trust me, I have this fucking naturopathy degree, or I have this doctor of chiropractic degree. And that's another thing. Even chiropractors are promoting this shit. Chiropractors! I mean, shit. It's one thing if you pop my back, but it's another thing if you start selling me fake supplements and fake, quote-unquote, homeopathic drugs. And what's even worse is that chiropractors aren't even allowed to prescribe medications, at least in most states. I don't know about all state laws, but from what I understand, even federally speaking, like, chiropractors are not even actually licensed. A lot of the licenses that these chiropractors get, and a lot of these degrees that they get them from fucking diploma mills. And they especially get them from, like, from scammers. So, if you think about it, chiropractors are getting scammed into becoming scammers. Isn't that fucking crazy? It's ridiculous, and I think that this whole thing needs to just die. I think the FDA needs to regulate this shit more, and we need to get rid of homeopathy as a whole. It's bullshit, it's nonsense, it's been proven false. And you know what's funny? The guy who came up with homeopathy was a fucking magnetic healer. A magnetic healer. Now here's the thing about magnets. Magnets don't heal people. Magnets don't really affect people. If at all. Like, I mean, shit, could they affect people? Maybe. But, I mean, besides that, try putting a magnet against your fucking head, or on your arm, or anywhere. What do you feel? Nothing. Nada. Zilch. None. Nothing at all. And it's like I said, this guy, he was a fucking magnetic healer. Which, when we look back at it from a modern perspective, or even a futuristic perspective, is bullshit. As far as we know, magnets can't heal people. But we do use magnets to look into people, like, basically to, like, look into their skeletons through, like, MRIs, and even looking into the body. Like, you can use magnets to do that with, like, CAT scans and MRIs and other scanners that use magnets. But it's like, besides that, they don't heal you. Magnets don't fucking heal you. They're just... It's bullshit. It's all bullshit from the end at the end of the day, and it has been bullshit ever since it was ever since it came to be. Like, by it, I'm talking about homeopathy. Homeopathy has been bullshit ever since it began, and it's still bullshit to this day. And I decided to make this video because I don't think enough people are talking about this. Like, I barely even see many videos criticizing homeopathy. If anything, I see a lot of videos from these fake doctors giving out this shit and giving out this false information, which is literally leading people to die. And I think that it's morally wrong to do this shit. It's morally wrong to basically kill people by giving them something that's not even a real treatment. And I have enough compassion to realize that it's a scam. It's nothing but bullshit. It's bullshit that needs to be called out, and it's bullshit that needs to be regulated. And I mean, shit, if I'm gonna be real honest, it's bullshit that needs to be fucking gotten rid of ASAP. Now, I know it's probably not gonna go away as soon as possible, but it needs to. Not just has to, it needs to. And, like I said, the reason why is because it's just killing people. These people aren't really getting treated from these quote-unquote homeopathic medicines. And I know I keep using air quotes a lot, but it's to make a point. Every time when I use air quotes, in the way that I use them, in the sense where it's like, when I'm talking about subjects like this, it's to criticize the bullshit that is within homeopathic medicine or whatever. Quote-unquote medicine. It's not real medicine. At the end of the day, it's bullshit, and we need to start calling these people out. We need to start reporting, like, okay, I'm giving y'all a challenge. If you love rationality, science, and philosophy as much as I do, and you love the truth, the next time if you see any of these fucking ads, if you see any of them, report them immediately. We need to mass report, mass fucking flag all of these goddamn advertisements that are promoting homeopathy. Because like I said, the gullible people who are going to fall for this shit, they're going to end up dying eventually. Because they're not getting actual medical treatment. And it's the same way with, like, praying over somebody to heal them, quote unquote. It's not actually healing them. I mean, shit. It's one thing to say nice words to help sympathize or empathize with somebody who's feeling sick. But it's another thing to claim that, like, you're basically going to use magic to heal them. It's bullshit. And the same goes for homeopathy. It's nothing but magic, woo-woo, pseudo-scientific bullshit. But yeah, anyways, that's my rant for tonight. And it's like 1 a.m. right now as I'm ending this video. But, I mean, I just wanted to get this video out there because, I mean, I really am tired of these damn advertisements. And if YouTube or any YouTube staff members watch this video, I encourage you, please, I'm begging you, get rid of these videos. Don't you guys know that this shit's bullshit? Like, don't you? Don't you, the employees of YouTube, know that this is bullshit? So why even allow this crap on this platform if it's a scam? Like, I could imagine if YouTube, like, if there was an advertisement out there that was saying, oh, the IRS can forgive this certain loan. Or, or should I say, in order for the IRS to forgive this certain loan, you should call this number. They would have wiped that out immediately. Which, by the way, I mean, I've noticed quite a rise of those too. But that's another topic for another day. It's like, just stop with the bullshit. Please, YouTube, please, get rid of these videos. And like I said, I challenge you, my viewers, or anybody who ends up watching, should I say my subscribers, or anybody who is watching or viewing, or listening, whatever it may be, please, I encourage y'all, please mass report these ads. Anytime you see these ads, mass report these ads. These ads need to be gotten rid of and destroyed from YouTube. Like, I could see this. It's one thing if I could see this shit happening on Rumble, because there's a lot of misinformation that happens on Rumble because it's an alt-right cesspool. An alt-right cesspool of misinformation, anti-vaxxer bullshit, and anti-government propaganda, and a bunch of other nonsense. Anyways, it's like, I could see this kind of shit happening on Rumble, but YouTube? But then again, this shit has been happening even way before COVID. Like, I could have sworn, I remember a long time ago, I remember, like, throughout the years, like, even back when I was in high school, that I would still see advertisements like this. But it's like, this one that I just saw today has become my breaking point. And I feel like I need to put out this PSA. This is a public service announcement to everybody. Please, stop falling for this bullshit homeopathic nonsense. And really start questioning all the crap that you hear from these quacks. Literally, these guys are fucking quacks. But anyways, you need to start questioning all this bullshit that these quacks are promoting. We need to be more scientifically literate, and we need to destroy pseudoscientific bullshit. Anyways, if y'all like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't, dislike it. Even if you dislike it, I don't care. Because here's the funny thing. Disliking videos is not going to get rid of this video, nor is it going to not allow, or nor is it going to tell the YouTube algorithm to not promote this video. Like, the YouTube algorithm is still going to promote this video if it does, whether you like or dislike or not. Anyways, like if you liked it, dislike if you dislike it, and share this video with your friends and family. Share this video with anybody that you know who has fallen for this crap. Because the more people that we wake up to this nonsense, the better our society will be. Anyways, hope you all have a nice day, night, afternoon, wherever you're at. Have a good one.